adversity? Bring it. The struggle? We welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Parelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on.
Before we dive into today's episode, we want to simply say thank you for your support. For season 2, we're running a couple giveaways and we'll be selecting a couple of you to win some No Snooze merch, some products over at Orgain.com, or a $50 Amazon gift card. If you enjoy the podcast and find value in what we're doing, all you have to do is subscribe to us, leave us a 5-star review on Apple, and DM us on Instagram at No Snooze Podcast, letting us know you've entered the giveaway. Thanks to all of you, the No Snooze Podcast is climbing the charts and we're well on our way to spreading this message to the masses. Enjoy today's episode. Mike, open us up.
Welcome back to the No Snooze Podcast. This is episode 41, fresh off of the lashing from the women again.
We survived, though. Thank God we survived.
That should be the title of it. We survived. David, how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. I don't know what it is, though. I know we were talking before. Every time you welcome us back, I love the voice.
I put on a radio voice. It's very hard
so
to not
good, though.
Welcome back to the podcast. Like, I don't know how to not have a radio voice.
It's perfect. And I also have to say, big step up in the tell 'em Mike sent you. I don't know. You're very
animated.
No, just so comfortable in the camera. And it looks. I've seen the growth, and it looks and sounds. And honestly, my mouth waters every time I see one of those episodes. So shout to you, my brother.
I have to appreciate that. Likewise, you've been more comfortable in front of the camera. I've contributed to No Snooze because we're in front of the camera constantly.
Right.
And then now I'm thinking, like, with every bad scenario, which we'll get on, it's good content. So
it is good content. Speaking of bad scenarios, last time we had a little ratatouille problem. I'm looking for an update. What's going on? How are we doing?
So I went back and forth on thinking about posting on the No Snooze account for Instagram. If you don't follow, go follow. But I was worried that like PETA was going to come after us, you know, because we
PETA, as in not your dog, Pete.
Yes,
you're talking about PETA, the animal
activists. You know,
yeah.
I didn't want to start a war. So there was a rat war 2020. So I didn't post it, but we caught Ratatouille.
Crowd goes wild.
When I went in, so the exterminator's like, yeah, just come in and check if we caught anything. And I'm like, that's your job. What am I gonna do? Like, he's like, yeah, just leave it, but let me know if you catch anything. So I like go inside and turn all the lights on, make a lot of noise to make sure it's not still there. And I go downstairs, first trap, nothing. Second trap, nothing. I turn the corner, and I'm like, you see like this long tail. And then I get a little closer, and you see the body, but it flipped over because when it snapped, like a typical mousetrap, it flipped it, so the head was blocked, but you could see just the body.
Yikes.
And the body.
How big, though? How big is the body?
5 inches.
5 inches.
5 inch
of
body.
A body.
Yeah, so 5-inch body. I don't even know if 5 inches. And then the tail was maybe another 4 inches. So my man's like covering 9 inches of
You're talking
space.
almost a foot of an animal here.
Foot of an animal in the little well by the laundry. So we got him. Then listen to this. So I call the exterminator, and I'm like, what do I do? He goes, just leave it. If there's other rats, it'll eat them.
Wow. You didn't take it out, though? You didn't?
He said leave him because he's basically bait for if there's other rats. I'm like, that's disgusting. So he's like, yeah, next time I'm over, I'll show you the video. He shows me a video. He goes, this rat trap was triggered, and we thought we missed it. So we opened it up to reset it, and the rat's head was in there because the rats ate the rest of them.
Oh, my goodness.
So I went back.
They are dirty, though, right?
It's not a city rat. You know what a city rat is?
Well, that's the subway rats.
Suburban rat.
Right.
Yeah, it's a suburban rat. It's a little softer. It's like me if I was a rat. You'd be a city rat. A little rougher around the edges, nasty. Bigger, thicker. But yeah, so it was nasty though. Like,
that's good though, man. Hey, look, at least you caught it. The hole that he bit in the pipe though, that was a pretty big hole.
That was probably like a nickel.
I mean, you're talking. Oh, really?
No,
I thought it was
quarter.
Bigger than that.
Well, to quarter.
Oh, I thought it was much bigger. Oh, okay, gotcha. So not that big. Maybe like the bottle cap thing.
Well, Nick Snooze is doing the renovation for our house. He found it and he sends me the photo, and he's like, "This is an enormous hole." So we figured that when he bit through it and cut the water line, we turned the water off so it didn't flood, obviously. And he must have came back and then realized it wasn't leaking, and he ate more of it. But it's plastic, like it's hard plastic he ate through. No problem.
That's incredible. But good for you guys. I'm happy. I knew that you were going to come out on top. I told you that. You always keep your head up, man.
We're still in the war. We didn't seal off the spaces because the exterminators, like you can't tip your hat because if there's a rat still in the house in your walls, you can't close off their access. Because if you close off the access, they're going to go nuts eating through stuff. So now we're in this weird middle where we're not in the house still,
right?
But we're exposed. It's like being in a war and saying, leave the front door open. Any more rats come in, we'll shoot them. But leave the door open.
You won this battle. We're still working on winning the war.
We didn't officially win yet.
No, we won the battle.
We won the battle.
Got it.
First battle.
I have my own little house story.
Was there a?
And it's typical Dave Regina fashion here.
I'm excited.
Yeah. This is good. I've been saving it too because it actually happened the day after we recorded with the wives. It was extremely cold the next night, right? Yeah. So I wake up in the middle of the night. Thank God Callie was with her grandparents, so she was not here. I wake up, I look at the thermostat, it's like 63 degrees. I'm like, this is a little cold, right? So I turn it up, then I go into the bathroom, and now I feel the air is a little bit cold, but this is 3 a.m. I'm like, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to go back to sleep, right? So wake up a couple hours later, look at the thermostat, 61 degrees. I'm like, all right, this is terrible. Run downstairs, and I'm like, babe, I'm going to go look at the boiler. She starts laughing, like, what are you going to do with the boiler?
I'm going to go look at it.
Yeah, little backstory. House is essentially brand new from the studs up. The only thing that was not replaced was the boiler, right? So we've had in the back of our mind, you know what, we got to put away some money because at some point, the boiler's going to go, right? It's like 20 plus years old. So we know that that's coming. I'm just like, damn, this happened at a bad time because it's the coldest day of the year and now my boiler's shot. Go downstairs, I got nothing, Mike. I'm feeling it's just cold, right?
So what are you doing? Are you like shaking
No,
it?
I'm feeling the pipes because usually like I touch it, it's like, oh, warm. All right, I guess it's working. This is just ice cold.
Okay.
So I'm like, I come upstairs, babe, I think the boiler's toast. All right, call the guy. I'm not going to mention the service that we have because it's probably not great what went on from here going on. It's Sunday now. So I'm like, this is going to be double time, right? My man comes, great guy. He looks at it. He's like, you got nothing. You really got nothing. And he goes, let me ask you a question. You have a switch at the top of the stairs, right? I'm like, yeah, it's always on. He's like, by any chance, did you look to see if it was off? I'm like, no, because it's always on. I didn't look, right? Go upstairs. I had to flick it back on. And sure enough, as soon as I flick it back on, the boiler's like, and it starts kicking heat back in.
Yeah, fires
so
up.
This whole time, I'm thinking I had a toasted boiler. And then the worst part, I come downstairs, he's like, yo, do you have a service contract? I'm like, yeah, with the oil I do, right? But not a service contract for the service. He goes, yo, that's $300. So I said, buddy, this is what we're going to do. I go in my pocket. I had $50 cash. I said, I'm going to give you this $50, right? I'm going to give you this $50 cash, and you're going to say that I called you and said, hey, don't come. It was just a switch, and I flicked it. He goes, I like that. So instead of costing us $300 plus on a Sunday call, ended up costing me $50. Knock on wood, boiler is still intact, but all I had to do was turn the switch on. New homeowners, make sure before you call the boiler company, you check that emergency switch.
That's hilarious because when we were hanging out, I actually turned that off. I didn't know it was too.
Was it you?
I don't know. The
funny thing is,
did I come down here?
It was definitely one of the women. I thought because the wife had some of the lovely ladies over.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
It was you, you
recent.
snake.
No,
yeah,
you imagine it was me, and I'm just
you definitely did that.
Figure that
so
out.
There you go. That's our house story.
That is like the number one thing that I do too. Like with things is like I don't even check if it's plugged in.
Right.
Yeah, you're just like something's broken.
Yeah.
It's because we don't have the skill to fix it.
No, terrible.
So we freak out. To build off your story and just add to it. Remember how I did all those little projects during COVID?
Yes.
Or not during COVID, during lockdown, the initial lockdown. Redoing all of them. I screwed everything up. I am on team delegate with Dave. I will not. Listen to me. I'm making a promise right now. I will not hammer a nail in anything in the near future because it's just not worth it.
You get a guy that knows what he's doing, and you create a good relationship, and he does the right thing for you. You do the right thing for them. That's how you get through life.
Hell of a move too. I'm going to call you. Just tell me to put the switch up. Here's cash.
Right.
That's the most Dave move.
So I asked my wife when I came upstairs. She's like, "What did you just do?"
She's like, what?
What'd you tell her?
What did you just?
Did
I
you
said,
say you
"Look,
fixed it?
No. He was here. He came in the house.
Oh, he told her?
Yeah, he had to tell me. But she was like, because I said, okay. I said, would you ever have done that? And she goes, no, I would have paid $3,000-$5,000. I don't know.
I would have too.
I'm
yeah.
just happy that the boiler's back on, right?
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm happy too. But when I felt in my pocket, I had a little cashish on me. I'm like, here you go, man.
Yeah.
I figured he would either bite on it or not, and he was all day for it. Because think about it. He gets his hourly wage or his salary.
Yeah.
He's not gonna receive any of that $300 that goes to the company.
No, it's
right?
it's a smooth move.
I felt like I did him a little service.
You did.
I did a little Sunday
win-win.
service. Right?
Nice win-win.
And that's what I'm about. Win-win, Mike.
Well, the heat feels great in here, so you did a good job.
I don't know. We keep it a little icy down here in the basement. But all right, so fasting wise, right? Just switching over to dad bod / pod bod.
Yep. And the cold is good for fasting. It actually makes you burn more calories.
It's great. So I told you last time that I was doing the intermittent.
Yeah.
Just a quick update. Another week in, and energy is really that's a real thing. When you're actually fasting for those 16 hours, and most people know I work out in the morning, I have a tremendous amount of energy after I fight that little hunger that goes on.
Yep.
But it's going well. And weight-wise, I'm not really moving too much, but that's not why I'm doing it.
Well, I was going to ask you, what are you going to gauge? Well, I'm going to pull a Dave on you.
Mm-hmm.
What are your measurements of what if you like fasting? If it's successful, is it purely energy? How are you measuring?
No, so
it?
in September, I had all my blood work done.
Oh, okay.
Right? So I have certain I don't know the specifics on it, but I'm going to tell the doctor that, look, I've been doing this now, and I want another blood test, and I want a comparison as to where I was. Because the real goal for this, for me, is just trying to, the Coach Pete episode, a lot of motivation for me, longevity.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of, doing what you can to avoid cancers and certain things like that.
Yeah. What do you think about more, too, now that, with the baby? You
Yes.
start
Oh, yeah,
thinking,
of course.
It's wild how quickly you start thinking that way.
Right. People are probably laughing because they see me smoke cigars all the time.
I was going to say. That helps you fast, though, right?
Well,
Cigars?
no, I don't. I wouldn't smoke cigars like that in the morning. But that's a whole separate conversation. The debate on the cigar versus cigarettes, it's completely different. I went to the dentist. You know what happened. And as long as you're only smoking a couple of a week and you're not inhaling, yes, there's still a risk, but the same risk happens in eating red meat.
Brother Bill had me cracking up because he's like,
Yes.
but remember when he said, he goes, between Dave and yourself, he's encouraging cigars and you're encouraging not eating. So he's like, I don't know if I can get behind this anymore.
Right. And then you go to tell him Mike sent you, and now you're eating 5,000 calories in a sitting. But
here's the thing,
it's
right?
It's good. It's
so
the one meal.
The fasting approach, now that we have more busy schedule, we just get increasingly more busy, right?
Yep.
I'm like, how can we still do a TV show like this without me blowing up? And, how can I stay fit for the podcast? There's all these like conflicting things.
Yep.
And fasting fit into that puzzle. Because I remember when we were initially talking about it, I'm like, I think I figured it out. Because I don't feel guilty going to do that anymore.
Yep.
And it hasn't affected me. If anything, I mean, to shoot a TV show
you're
like
benefiting
that
from it.
And lose 30 pounds is pretty wild.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm cracking the code, but I'm happy you're on the fasting
Yeah,
train.
no, and it's I'm really loving it. And then another shout out to Coach Pete.
Yes.
We added, it was really for the baby, but I remember when Coach Pete was talking about it, adding a humidifier, right? Usually I hear dehumidifier. That was the first time that I heard a humidifier. I have a lot of nasal issues. That's why my nose is hard left, nice, big, and crooked there.
Same here.
But, I added the humidifier for the baby, but the benefits have been great. I don't wake up stuffed up.
Yeah.
I guess because it's creating a humidity in the room, there's certain things that go on. I can't speak to the science of it, but it's a great thing. So if you're looking for a little something, something to switch up the routine or add just to benefit your sleeping patterns, I'm a big fan of the humidifier.
That's a nice touch. Dana got a humidifier, so we got to try that out. And if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen. Pete,
Yes.
Montpelier, is great episode. The humidifier is a big move. The diet, it's once you start fasting, you realize you really don't need that much.
Right.
It kind of goes with our theme of gratitude. You don't need much.
Yes.
You can get through a lot of the day by just drinking you've switched me into the water gang, because the water, just having something to drink throughout the day subsides hunger so much.
Yes.
Have you
Oh, yeah, of course.
How much easier is it now that you have the habit of the water drinking to actually fast too?
Yeah. Oh, it's an extreme difference. But now I don't know if I almost drink too much water, because if there's a day, right? If there's a day we have a couple drinks the night before, I feel like I'm so dehydrated. But as soon as I get that water back into my body, but now I'm up to like 250 ounces.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, it's a lot. But honestly, I mean, I'm either carrying a 33 ounce, like you see here,
Yeah.
or a 50 ounce. So you know, constantly back and forth to the water fountain at work, stop at the bathroom, talk a little bit, drink one. It just goes quick.
Yeah, I'd be remiss too if I didn't talk about Frank Parelli III, my father.
Yes.
Do you want to share some success on that one?
Yeah, long story short, he was looking for something to kind of switch up the diet. He had a goal of losing 14 pounds, and we spoke about 7 weeks ago, and he wanted to lose the 14 pounds right before Thanksgiving. Goes with the theme, right, with Thanksgiving and the gratitude. But I gave him a nice little diet, and honestly, I think you guys give me too much credit, and this is where it always, you know, I think the whether it's your client, the person you're helping out, they have to put the work in. So yes, you give them the blueprint, and you know, anybody who wants some details on the diet, feel free to reach out. But he put the work in with working out. So congratulations to you, FP the third.
And I think we figured out a new system, because you started him on this and he had some progress.
Yep.
Then I had to go live with them because we got kicked out of our house.
Yep.
So like I was there. So I think he was even more on, because he knew I
gotta
would
do
report
it.
back.
Yep.
So I think in the future, if someone wants to do this, I'll come live with you for a couple
Right.
weeks, and I'll make sure
The
you're
accountability
accountable.
thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I wasn't super helpful because I was making my 1,000-calorie meals.
Yep.
But you can eat a lot, so I was having like steak sandwiches and stuff in front of
Yep.
them, and got to give him credit.
Yeah, no, and he stuck to it. There was no fasting involved in that one. That was strictly 3 meals a day with some healthy snack options.
Yep.
But paired that with working out. He's a Peloton fan too, right?
Peloton.
Shout out to Peloton.
And I know, Mom, you're going to want to take credit as well. You did a hell of a job cooking and getting everything prepared.
Yes.
And, he wouldn't have dropped a single pound without you.
That's
Remember that.
right. That's
She's
right.
gonna like that
Yeah,
one.
she's gonna love that. But it's the truth, though.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
I've looked at the Peloton and been like, should I join the gang? Because I'm
listen,
there.
man. For you're an efficient guy, right?
I love
it's
the bike,
time, but it's time for you versus the output. Sometimes I'm cranking 20-minute workouts, and I have to put it to an extreme resistance to do this. 500, 600, 700 calories, 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Can't be.
Do you pour the water on yourself before or after you start
Imagine,
the workout?
yeah. Well, no one sees the leak in the
a-
ceiling, right? It just
Yeah. I did the ceiling. The rat bit through that
Right.
portion. I have this like weird. I think I want to go weights again. I loved lifting weights. I think that's the move. It's just now with everything going on, I'm like, how do I do it? So I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yep. See, I'm very fortunate because we have a very small gym at the job. So
What do they charge for membership?
2-3 days a week. Can't get in. Sorry, man.
All right, that's fair.
Maybe if you tell the guy at the door that you know
Dave sent me.
Yeah, then it might work out for you. Switching over now, serious note. This is November 30th. Tomorrow, my mom is officially 2 years sober. So yes, crowd goes wild. Mom, incredible job. I love you. I'm here for you always. And it's just been a real pleasure, and I get a lot of fulfillment. I'm very grateful for everything that you put in every single day. So congratulations to you. Thanks, and I love you.
Yeah, congratulations to Mom.
Yes.
And anyone else, that is doing
Yep.
something for an extended period of time. I don't remember anything that I've done for 2 years.
Right.
Think about that.
It's
It's a
extreme.
lot.
I know. I did a 30-day little gratitude and no alcohol thing. So going on 2 years after battling addiction.
Yep.
Extreme shout out and credit to you.
Awesome.
So that's kind of the topic of today. Timing is right after Thanksgiving. I want to talk about gratitude, right? And gratitude for me, it really has changed my life. And I'm not a big church guy, not a big temple, the mosque. I know everybody has a. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing because I can envision you being a church guy and being like the pastor. Like I can see that in my head.
Everyone was saying that when I married
Yes.
Victor and Dorian.
Exactly.
Right. No, but everybody has their own set of beliefs, and whether it's religious or whoever you look up to. Gratitude for me it's really become an everyday part of my life. And I do it, first thing in the morning as a little thing. Good. I'm just thankful to wake up. We spoke about that before. But I want to touch on a couple reasons as to why practicing gratitude and how we kind of incorporate it in our lives without it being something that I don't even know really how to explain it. But think about this. At the Thanksgiving table, when everybody goes around and they're thankful, right, and they say something that they're grateful for, that feeling in the room, why is it that we
Do you guys do that?
Yeah, we do.
I cringe at stuff like that.
But-
because I'm like, when you have to say it out, I know I'm not saying it's bad.
Yep.
For me, it's like, why do I have to tell you what I'm grateful? You know that
I'm grateful.
yeah.
Right. But when you do verbalize it,
It's true.
there is something in the room
Yeah.
that, I don't know, I want that feeling more often, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to kind of incorporate into your life. Is there something that you do that now maybe, especially with the baby, right, you understand that like things are happening in your life,
Yeah.
not because you're you're putting the work in, but there is something that's helping that process along. And when you're mindful of gratitude and being thankful exactly where you're at today,
Yeah.
you and I are very go-getter. Sometimes I lose sight of that.
Yeah.
And I think it hinders me sometimes because I'm always looking forward instead of looking at the now.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Well said. I don't even need to add another word. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I mean, naturally now with the baby, I'm on morning duty, which you are too, right?
Yes.
You wake up, the first thing you wake up to is your baby usually. I mean, usually I wake up earlier, but then you get the day going and then, whatever it is, 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, your baby wakes up and the first thing you're doing is you're getting them out of their diaper, changing them. They're smiling at you. It's hard not to be grateful with a child. I'm not saying every morning's rainbow and sunshine.
No, of course
but
not.
It's a constant reminder because my day starts with, Livy, ends with Livy,
Right.
Which is amazing. And then, recently, a practice, a physical thing that we're starting to do, and I've tried to do a little more, is I was thinking how stressful it must be being married to us, right? Even Catherine with Claudio, like we have these busy schedules and we lean on our partners a lot to take the brunt of the baby or whatever it is.
Yep.
Just, getting gifts for people or, I'm always landing right before we go to the next event. It's up to Dana to get prepared to get us there,
Yep.
So what I've been trying to do, and we did prior to all the shutdown, is, Sunday I took Dana out. I asked my parents to watch the baby, and I said, let's go get some sushi. I just want to thank you for all your help, and I know this year hasn't been easy, and I've gotten busier and busier, and you've been amazing, and I just want to take you out. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's a beautiful thing, and I'm sure it went a long way for her to even.
And you think about stuff. I listened to what you said when you have that little thought in your head. You listen to it and trust your gut. I was thinking about doing it. I'm like, I'm pretty tired. Like, it's been a long day. And I'm like, no, she deserves to go out. I want to enjoy it. And it was a great night. We had a blast, very low key. You don't even have to go out to sushi. Just bringing home flowers or something's big. But it's something that I stopped doing that I need to start doing again. We've done, and, I'm not doing it for the show, for No Snooze, but it was something that I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't even... when you brought it up, I forgot that we did that.
But I think a lot of credit to you because that's not something that's always easy.
Husband of the year.
But yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
kidding. I'm joking. Anything but.
And I'm going for BDE this year. Best dad ever too.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
BDE. Nice. That's a T-shirt.
Right. But I think not only it is something that you work on and acknowledging it is step one, but for me, when I am truly grateful, I have so much more to offer in my relationships, right? Your wife actually said it best. She said that she had spoke to
Father Raj.
Yes, yeah. And, removing the expectation of others and just doing things to actually put the work in and do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's part of gratitude, not wanting to receive anything and just beginning to do. It just gives my relationships in life so much more power. And I know, especially speaking to my mom, I try to talk to her, every day.
Yeah.
It's a real thing,
It's but you make a good point. Like the physical action of doing things that remind you of the gratitude are important. Because we're homeless, basically, we got kicked out by Ratatouille. We got evicted. Being around, we're so fortunate that we have parents that can take us in and with, no hesitation, whatever you need, come on over. So we'll be doing 3 days of my parents, 4 days at Dana's parents. And I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, how lucky are we that we can just pack up and, create a bomb in other people's houses with a baby and, dogs and all that stuff. But a lot of people don't have that. So this month has really been an eye opener of how fortunate we are, which comes back to what I talk about all the time. Is like not complaining, because like I really have nothing to complain about.
Yeah,
you can complain. I'm not saying it's, but
right.
when you start like whining about stuff, which everyone's guilty, I do it all the time. You're just like, what am I complaining about?
We all do it, and when you have that perspective switch, that's what makes it really work. But even at work, I remember when I was, I mean, I still like to call myself young, but when I was younger, I remember having a boss that I felt like I would put so much work in, right? Mindful, I'm doing it, I guess for the wrong reasons, because I guess you could say I was looking for like an acknowledgement. Something I try to do with my team now at work is always acknowledge the work that they do. Right? And I don't know if you can relate to this, but having somebody just simply say thank you for the work that you've done, it motivates other people too, right? So now that I'm in a position to where that is my job, right? To motivate the people around me, it needs to be a win-win situation like that. Just that simple fact of me acknowledging the work that you do, whether it's a project or it's something that you did just for the day, just coming to work today. I know a lot's going on. Thank you for showing up. And in return, I've now realized that is why I handle conflict so well. Because when conflict happens with the staff, I'm not only talking to them about the bad things, right? I've already established rapport that, you know what, I constantly acknowledge the good. Yeah. So if something bad comes up, that's why I'm comfortable in the uncomfortable situations. Yeah. And I think it took this episode for me to realize, like, okay, that is a piece of gratitude right there that benefits me in the long run. I'm very grateful for the work that you've put in as a staff member. So that is the rhetoric that we use all the time. Then when you have a problem or I have a problem, it's much easier to deal with.
And how do you compliment people, like at least in the workplace? Is it like just a quick text? Is it an email? Do you call them in the office? What's typical?
So my office is actually very close to the punch out clock. So if I see somebody leaving for the day, I always address them by their first name, right? So if John or Beverly comes in, it's like, John, thank you for your work today. Bev, thank you very much for your work today.
Do you have nicknames ever?
Yeah, we all have. We have funny nicknames, but little things like that. If it comes to maintenance, just walking around and acknowledging the work that they've done in the facility. If it's a program staff member, I jump in on the Zoom, I listen to what's going on, shoot them a follow-up email like, hey, I just checked out this program that you were running. Really good job. I'm happy with what I just saw. Yeah. And it can't be foo-foo, right?
Yeah, it's got to be genuine.
Yeah, it's got to be genuine. And you can still give somebody an improvement technique, but if you lead with a genuine gratitude as for what they just did, they're so much more receptive of that. So that's a little piece of leadership I think that I've adopted because that was not given to me in the past.
It's how you present things for sure. Yeah. There's a guy that I follow, Patrick Bet David, that I really like.
Yes.
He asks questions and leads people to water, but he knows where he's leading you. It's wild. And gotcha. I've been trying to figure out how he does it, and I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate it, but it's similar to what you're saying.
Even with you think about our wives, right? If we're if we're constantly just telling them about what they need to do, versus I know, and it's something that we both do, right? Yeah. But if we're now mindful of it, and again, I'm glad Karina's not here to bash me, but I know that
episode 50.
We'll look forward to that one. But there's times that I wanna basically call her out for something that maybe she can do better. Right. But instead, now I'm mindful that, you know what, you have to acknowledge the good, too, if you want a result off of something to really change.
But that comes back to what you're saying, where you can't expect, you shouldn't expect things. So,
well, that's what Dana said.
Well, yeah, that's the whole theory. But that, as far as just life and the workplace, this year, I think I've come to a realization like yourself, where now I don't expect anything. At work, at least. Home, sometimes we're all guilty of that. But at work, I'm like, you know what? I don't expect anything. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Don't worry about anyone else. You catch yourself now. Sometimes, why didn't they give me? I deserve this, or I deserve that. I should get an office, whatever it is. The less you expect, the better you're off because you don't fixate on certain things. When you fixate on stuff, your energy gets pulled away and it kills your own momentum. So you're only hurting yourself. So it's
exactly.
I mean, it's kind of a foo-foo thing to talk about.
No, but it's real deal though.
I love the word foo-foo.
Yeah, but it is, and I love fugazi.
Fugazi's good. Let's switch to
The
fugazi.
fugazi
Foo-foo's a
foo-foo?
little, yeah.
The fugazi foo-foo.
Yeah, yeah. But when you don't have like, it creates. I got in trouble with myself when I started expecting things from my office, and then when I came to the realization, I'm like, I am an employee of theirs technically. I'm not really, but I work for them. They're always going to want to pay me as little as possible.
Yep.
I'm always going to want to make as much as possible. It's okay to have that conflict. I can't take it personal.
You
right?
told me that when I got denied my raise last
year.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's something I think about constantly. That realization is so like subtle. But once you understand, like, yeah, don't take it personal that they don't want to pay as much. They're running a business.
Yep.
You know, you're taking money out of their pocket. Then when you make that switch and you're like, all right, I'm just going to run with it. Because now, especially in my role, whatever I kill, I eat. So, like, I'm going to go kill more. So I'm going to go out and try to get more deals and, you know, not expect handouts.
Yep.
You know, not saying there were handouts, but you know what I mean.
No, I got you.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we partnered with our good friends over at Orgain.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NOSNOOZE30. Again, that's NOSNOOZE30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, Orgain is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from Orgain. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
For people maybe listening to this, like, yeah, well, I'm not really into the gratitude thing. How can I kind of incorporate it into my life? I can give you some things that I've done.
Hit me with it.
And really where it started was...
Did the boiler go out? It's a little cold now.
It is cold, right?
Yeah.
I thought about the most tragic times in my life and realizing that as bad as it was, I'm still here. I got through it.
Well, think about 2020 too.
Right? Yeah, the whole year.
Just the year's
whole
been
year
wild.
sucked. There's a lot going on.
It's a great year though too. At the same time,
yeah,
right?
But I'm saying for the a lot of lives lost with COVID.
Yeah.
Regardless of your political side of things and what you believe and what you don't believe, there's been a lot of turmoil that's gone on in the United States this year.
Yeah.
And same thing for me in my personal life, not just 2020. There's been ups and downs, but I look at the big tragedies in my life. Right. When I lost my grandfather. Wow. How did I physically get through that? Well, I'm still here today. I'm thankful for everything that I've had and the opportunity and the time spent with him. Mom's sobriety journey, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Seeing where she was at and to where she's at now. Thinking of the days when I used to caddy with my father. My dad didn't have enough money to support us, right? So he always hit it very well. The divorce of my parents, how my dad literally, he just told me this a couple years ago, used to cash bottles in to get money to put some gas in his car. That's how bad it was, right? So I'm grateful for all of those things that now I'm at where I'm at.
Yeah.
So if you look at the worst times in your life and you reflect on that, the only real thing to come from it now is an act of gratitude. So that's something that you can practice. You think about those tough times and you're like, wow, you know what? Yeah, those times really sucked and it was hard, but I'm here now.
I would challenge you. That's a great technique. I would challenge you to do that same technique, but with good times.
Oh yeah, well that's easy. I'm talking to somebody who
has difficulty with it.
Yes, who really can't do it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because if they're naturally a little more pessimistic,
yes,
then they grab
and that was me. I was not
well
a big gratitude person. I didn't really know what it was. I really didn't. My dad only dad went to church every Sunday when we were growing up, and he would always just say it, preach it a little bit. So I know it kind of stuck. But that was one thing that I did, and then also I started. Sounds funky, and it sounds foo-foo for sure.
Fugazi.
No, well, not fugazi, but I started really asking for some guidance. Like just talking to, the higher power that I believe to be there, asking for guidance. Put something in my life that, I become, I can become more grateful.
So
and it works.
He put Claudio and Mike Parelli.
I'm but seriously, even with the podcasting, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
and suddenly things just fall into
We
place.
know.
And I'm very grateful for this journey that we've been on, for sure. But I've tried it all now. You don't, yeah, touch, right?
Such
I-
boys.
sorry.
Grateful for you guys.
I've tried it all now. I've done the journaling thing.
Yeah.
Journaling is great for some people, for sure.
You don't like it?
And me personally, I get more out of it when I put it out loud
Okay.
versus writing it down, for
Yeah.
me. So now I have a specific time and a place that I have a gratitude prayer. Yes, first thing in the morning, I'm grateful for the day to wake up, beautiful wife, daughter, boom. But then I do get a little bit deeper on my ride to work, and you guys can both know the spot, because it's hard to not realize where you're at when you cross the bridge, leaving the town. Right, Claudio's shaking his head, so I'm sure you.
Yeah.
If think about it,
I think I know what
you
you're
have
talking
water to your left, you got water to your right. It's on the bridge. You're
Lot
kind
of
of
water.
up, you're up in the air. For me, it was just something I remember when we.
It's a great bridge.
Well, right? When
it's
we
a nice
first
bridge.
came here, I was like, wow, that is the spot. So you pick a certain time and a place and do it every single day, put it into your routine. For me, going on 2 years now, and it's helped tremendously. Are miracles in your life going to happen? That's a separate conversation. But if you can control some things and just adding a little gratitude into your everyday routine, it's not a bad thing. You know, and it's just something that I've done, and it's helped me tremendously.
It's nice to link. That's a good way to do it. Link a place to the practice, we'll call it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I have any place. Maybe my living room that I'm currently not in. It's always nice in the morning to be. Yeah, the whole journaling thing, I get it. People love it. I get it. It doesn't make sense for me because, like, if I on my phone, I can do it on my phone, get some thoughts down.
Yep.
I think I'm in similar scenario where if I speak it, it makes it a little more.
You should hear, honestly, and this is the other thing. People, you know, for me to hear this from somebody else, if this was a couple years ago, I'd be like, yeah, you know, what do you sit there? You're on your knees, you're praying. Yeah, some people do that. I don't do that. I have my own relationship.
Well, it's
with
a
my
version
higher
of a
power.
reflection too.
Oh, what?
It's a version of like reflection and meditation. Yeah,
Yes.
it's whatever you want to call it.
Yes, and something just constantly we talk about, and I'm very acknowledging of the fact that I need to get better at thanking my current situation. I'm grateful exactly for where I'm at right now because it could be much worse. Yes, I'm sure it could be better, but having that mindset for me is something that I'm working on moving forward.
I think having kids has benefited us greatly because you can you reflect more on parents, you reflect more on your being, you growing up.
Yep.
There's a different perspective that comes that where all this stuff kind of floods you all at once. So I think and we're early on in our journey, but I think the first year is pretty wild as far as like a change of thoughts, process. I know I appreciate my family way more now having a child and like, visiting my brother and, losing my grandmother this year and grandparents and family. So it's all, once you have something or someone that's a greater power than you or you want to contribute to, like, I remember when I got married to Dana, it was like, wasn't all about me anymore. Right. Because then you have someone you're providing for, you're teaming with. Then when the baby comes in, you're like, you're really third fiddle or whatever, fifth fiddle. You put a lot of things ahead of yourself, which just naturally make you more like, whatever. If I don't get my, my cheat meal that I want, as long as the baby's happy and, your wife's happy, it's good. So it all, I constantly, when I think about stuff when I was like spoiled growing up, I didn't have nearly as much adversity as you did. And now looking back, like, yeah, I appreciate everything I was given, but we were definitely spoiled. Like, I don't want to call a spade a spade. We weren't getting everything we ever needed, but I didn't really have any hardships. So now looking back, I'm like, wow, my parents sacrificed like a ton of stuff. So we were happy. Now you want to do that for your child. Mm-hmm. So you're just naturally, you grow into more of like a selfless person. Not saying that I'm the most selfless person on earth, but you just naturally gear that way once there's a kid. I mean, right? Do you feel like there's
100%.
And I don't feel like I'm making that much more of an effort. It's just naturally starting to go that way
because you're acknowledging it though, right? And you're making a conscious decision now. It's not much more effort, but when you change your thoughts a little bit and you're doing things for a different purpose, that's exactly.
But every day you're faced with a decision where you weren't faced with prior. Like the baby, you come home from work and you're especially me because I only eat one meal a day, but you're starving, right?
Yep.
And the baby's crying and the baby's hungry and you're like, you know what? Let's feed the baby and then I'll eat when I eat.
Mm-hmm.
think about you a year ago.
Oh,
no
yeah.
baby.
Yep.
You come home and like, you know, you're just
It's
like,
all
you know,
about Dave.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying just you, but
No,
me too.
100%.
That's life, though. I think you get less self. I'm not saying people without kids aren't like progressing, but I think as you get older, one of the biggest thing is you get more selfless, right? You don't realize how much time to yourself, you know, selfish you are prior to a lot of life wisdom, you know, adversity that comes on.
No, well said.
What a ramble. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, but it's legit.
Is this my
And-
camera?
and you're living it. So I think now that it's, you know, we're just past Thanksgiving, let's keep the culture going and let's choose gratitude.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, let's dive into some turkey and sweet potato.
Yeah, right? The leftovers are definitely waiting for us upstairs. So with that, we'll start to wrap up. This will bring us to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dimes.
Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance.
That was good. That might have been a quarter.
That's deep.
Did you hear that?
It might have been a quarter. I don't get
I
it.
did a dad joke.
I-
Dime quarter.
Wow.
Come on,
wow.
that's a Dave joke.
Wow, that was good. Eckhart Tolle, shout out to you on the quote. I know Mike likes that I steal everybody's quotes.
Oh, you actually referenced someone on this one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good.
No, but it is true. And I've even incorporated that word abundance, right? To that higher power up there, start asking for things in abundance. And what's the worst that could happen? It actually happens.
What do you mean for in abundance?
Yeah, like just, you know, bless my marriage in abundance, like with an extreme amount of love. Bless my parenting skills with an extreme amount of skill, right? Like you just ask for an abundance because if you do believe in that higher power can provide really big, and that's the word abundance.
Got it.
You know?
No, I was just curious. Like I ask for abundance of food sometimes.
There you
I'm
go.
like, yeah.
There you go.
Why just order one?
Allow my
app?
stomach to open up in abundance so I can go crush these leftovers.
Abundance. All right. This is Mike's mantra.
Ito, ito, ito. To know.
I changed it up,
Miguelito?
being a little more formal.
Oh, okay.
Enjoy the little things. For one day, you may look back and realize they were the big things.
That's beautiful.
I think I've used it before, but
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
that's solid for gratitude.
solid.
Absolutely solid.
Super
What's
solid.
a little thing that you look back and you're like, that was nice? Do you have anything?
A little thing that I look back on.
Like my coffee in the morning,
Oh,
I look
that's-
back and I'm like, that's nice. You
That's
know, when
incredible.
you got the baby in one arm, coffee in the other,
Yep.
she's just sitting there smiling for like that half a second
Mm-hmm.
before they're going nuts.
You know what's something that's very small that's weird?
Your chest.
Well, your shot. I opened up a new toothbrush the other day, and I never realized that, you know what? We're actually, for something so small, I'm grateful that I'm able to brush my teeth. I had watched a documentary in, I don't know, it was Ethiopia, I believe, and they didn't even have toothbrushes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
little things like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, starting to be mindful of the little things. I love that. You got anything else before we wrap up?
Thankful for the little things like heat. When you lose heat or something, you're like, wow, this is really, you know, some people don't have heat. But yeah, that we'll end on that note. And it's nice and toasty down here. So
It
good
is.
job fixing your boiler.
Yeah.
We got the rat out. We got the water back on.
Yep. And let me just say, CV, very grateful for you, my brother.
CV,
Mike Parelli,
thank you.
very grateful for you.
Thank you. I
Guys.
can't say the same, but
Until next time, stop snoozing.
get up and get after it.
My man. 41.
That's another Effie in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.